Welcome to the Flawed Workshop podcast with me, your host, Nancy Art Music.
And me, your co-host, Alex Roberts.
This week we're joined by Obi, also known as Ayana Nails on Instagram and TikTok. We'll be discussing what it's like to be a nail technician who does amazing nail art, diversity within the industry, and the ways in which social media can be a double-edged sword.
Sweet. Podcast time. Obi, thank you very much for joining us on the Flawed Workshop podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about what you do and give us a little introduction.
So I am a qualified and insured nail technician. I have been doing nails for coming up to 3 years in December. I did a course at the London Academy of Beauty and then just practice until I felt confident enough to take clients. And now I take clients whenever they feel like booking appointments. With Corona, I stopped working for probably almost a year exactly. And now it's like everything's opening back up and it's like, oh, scary. Anxiety, social anxiety, work anxiety. You know, it's okay. Am I getting bookings every month and all this stuff? So it's a crazy time.
Mm-hmm. So I just want to say it's a bit of a disservice just saying you do nails, because having seen what you do, they are majestic works like sculptures. They are.
Oh, thank you.
Genuinely, I had not seen nails like that prior to when Nancy introduced me to what you do. It would be a case of, Obi had these amazing nails today, but okay. And I'm used to just seeing some glittery nails or whatever, or just someone's just like really nicely polished things. And then she shows me yours, and there's like, even today you've got bears, literally, you've got bear statues on your nails, and you've just taken it to this whole other level, which is awesome. So
I'm like, my brain is like, it's like a creative bubble of madness, color. It's like, think of like the 1990s color era, like Y2K on crack. That's my brain when it comes to nails. It's just color, madness. I want to do length. I want color. Give me all the charms, all the glitter, all the gold, all the everything. Give it to me all, and my brain will just be like, yeah, what can we do with all of this? So.
It's so nice because you essentially have portable, personalized works of art on each of your nails. And that's incredible. I feel like it's a philosophy. It's how to live life in some ways, because you can't like hanging up a painting or something in your house. Yeah, it's fine. You get to see it for however many hours a day. But this is with you every day, wherever you go. So nice.
I really like that description. I'm going to keep that description.
You're welcome.
I've used that description.
You have one canvas. I've got 10.
I've got 10. Yeah. Exactly that.
Oh.
So I've never had my nails done, anything like that. And I'm completely naive to the whole thing. So having seen what you've created, what's your thought? Like, how do you even begin to approach a client and say, this is a design that I've done for you? And how do you even get to the designs to begin with?
A lot of my clients, when they come in, they usually know what they want. Girls nowadays, because all of the clients I have are women, so they're all on Instagram, all the nail trends. They follow the nail trends, they follow the nail techs, and they'll come in with pictures of me like, yep, I would like this, can I have this? And then when I like do work on myself, mainly my thought process usually is like pick a color and just sort of go from there and just see where my brain takes me. And then here we are. You see my Instagram page full of the madness that comes out of my brain. So yeah, it just kind of works that way.
For those of you listening in the audience, we've actually already had this discussion, but due to some audio troubles, we're having it again because I love Obi's work so much. But yeah, in our earlier discussion, you said that you started being interested in nails a little bit when you were kind of 14, and it kind of grew from there. So can you elaborate a little bit on what that beginning was like?
Yeah, so I grew up in Southeast London. So having your nails done was a normal thing, even as a teenager. So when I probably started getting my nails done when I was 14, I would go to like the nail shops in like, when I used to live in Elephant Castle, Plumstead, Woolwich, you go to the nail shops, pay £20 or whatever, get your nails done, bang, 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 out you go. But then with me, it was always, I'd go to the nail shop and yeah, I'd like my nails, but there'd always be like something like wrong, like the shape's not completely there, or the color's not completely there, or the design is not exactly what I want.
Yeah.
So I was just sort of like, well, I can do this. So I was like, okay, well, how do I do this? Like, where do I get started? So I basically spent, I think it was 3 days on Google, just trying to like see nail tech courses, how much they were, etc., etc. They're very expensive.
Mhm.
It's very expensive. Trying to get the beauty industry is very expensive to start with. Courses start from anywhere from £500 to thousands, and you're just like, okay, this is a lot of money. But yeah, I did a course at the London Academy of Beauty, got qualified, got my insurance, and then just started practicing, watching YouTube videos, a lot of YouTube videos, following various nail techs on Instagram. Yeah, and just sort of went from there.
The way that I continue to see more and more sort of nail art, mostly I think it's almost always on Instagram. And it's really nice that there's such a big community, and everyone seems really supportive, which is really nice. But can you talk a little bit more about the social media and promotion aspect of it, and what the community's like a little bit?
So Instagram is crazy when it comes to nails. Like, I don't even think you could reach the whole like spectrum of the nail world on Instagram. It's so big. I mean, obviously you have the nail techs that you see all the time, like, Sean Legend and Nails by Dev, Cardi B's nail tech, Jenny Bride. You see those nail techs, but then when you like search the hashtags and you follow different pages, there are so many different types of nail techs out there. Like, for example, there's a page on Instagram called Nail Sunny. It's a very famous, I think their first salon is based in Russia. And they do like the wildest things you could ever think of and put on nails. Like, I think there was a time they put like they made a toilet out of acrylic and put it on nails. They make like bottles and put it on nails. Honestly, the wildest things. But the nail community on Instagram, for me personally, even when I first made my nail Instagram page, I followed a whole bunch of techs. Some of them, like right from the very beginning, I still speak to now. I find that most nail techs are very supportive in that, like when you ask them questions, they'll answer, and I found my network of like, I have a group of nail techs that I speak to pretty much every single day. We swap deals on like nail products and stuff. If someone finds something on AliExpress, the link gets sent into the group chat and things like that. So the nail community, in my experience, has been very welcoming, very supportive. And I think more so than I've seen with other industries in the beauty world. So I'm very happy to belong to the nail community. It seems like a very loving place, but it does have its issues in terms of like diversity. I think the nail industry primarily is like full of older, not very diverse techs. And I think with everything, like for example, with everything that happened with George Floyd and things, a lot of nail techs were pushing back at the lack of diversity that is shown within like the big brands and the big companies within the nail industry. And I remember I must have spent, I think it was maybe a good month and a half, literally hounding nail brands like, okay, well, you guys posted a black square in solidarity for George Floyd, but what does your board of members look like? Like, what do your staff look like? Things like that. To the point where a couple nail pages unfollowed me. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm a black woman. Before, like, you look at me, you see I'm black. As much as people say, "Oh, I don't see color," that's great, but I'm a black woman. But please see that I'm a black woman.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it's such a there is no way to remove that from your life. You like
exactly.
I was listening to a podcast. This is like completely different topic, but obviously diversity came up a lot last year within a lot of things because it's a huge issue across everything, basically, as much as people don't really like to notice it. But someone was talking about basically running an improv class. They're a white guy, lovely guy called Brennan Lee Mulligan, who hosts a podcast and show called Dimension 20, plays Dungeons and Dragons, but also teaches improv comedy. And there was this black woman in his class who was sharing a story. And the exercise was that someone would then add to the story to continue improvising on it. Yeah. And he was at the top of each class to make everything very clear, because the establishment that where he teaches has like this legalese, like there's no form of discrimination allowed, blah, 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 blah. But he's like, let's clear up, make sure that this is crystal clear. There is nothing allowed where race, gender, sexuality, or sexual orientation is the butt of any joke. But when this black woman shared her experience, and then like it was a funny joke about like just she was nannying for some kids, and they're like, she used to wear these yellow leggings, and they're like, do all black people have yellow legs? Because they'd never seen her without them. But it was also kind of like, it was funny because it was like, they clearly don't know very many black.
So it's kind of kids being kids. Like,
yeah.
But at the same time, she like stepped back, and it was somebody else's turn to like riff on it, and everybody else was really awkward because everybody else in this class was white, and they were like, I'm sorry, I just don't feel comfortable because we said we weren't going to talk about race. It's like, I'm very sorry to tell you, but at the core of everything I've experienced in life, I am a black woman, so I can't really avoid it.
I can't, even if I wanted to, I can't avoid race. So we have to, whether you like it or not, we have to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And it was so interesting to see like brands being called out for the lack of diversity and representation on their nail pages, to the point where there's a nail page on Instagram called Nail Pro Magazine, and they released a picture of their board of members, and everyone was either old, white. It was primarily old white women. And it was like, this is not a true reflection of the nail community. Mm-hmm. And people went in to the point where now they're posting, less well-known texts and black texts and Asian texts, and there's a variety of texts. So bullying does work sometimes.
Well, I mean,
it does work sometimes.
It's not bullying; it's forceful education.
Exactly.
But, that's better.
So, at my day job, we've had a very similar thing where the industry I work in is massively dominated by old white men, as most industries tend to be. And the company I work for, we've set up our own initiative, and we're basically calling out all these other events, companies, businesses, panels that do not have women speaking on them. And the very day that we launched it, and we actually had one of these events sign up to it, they then released the panel lineup of their next events, and there was one woman out of 16 people on it. And they're going, well, this is just wrong. So we've now built this entire database where we're basically going around asking all of the businesses in the industry, is like, are there any women in these in roles with expertise in any of these sectors? And we're making this giant database with names, contact details, expert subjects.
You're removing any barriers that they have to excuse themselves from.
Exactly. And because we found that a lot of it was, I was just going slightly off topic, I guess, but a lot of it was people saying, oh, but we don't know how to get in touch with these people, or we don't, or just there aren't enough there aren't enough women that want to speak at these events, which of course is just an utter lie, because
it's an extreme lie.
So even outside of the nail tech, so it's not just the nail tech thing, but having greater diversity in arts, in business, is nothing but beneficial. Like there's so much to gain from it. And as you were saying about this whole thing of, oh, but I'm awkward talking about race or whatever. It's like, well, that's kind of on you.
Exactly.
That's your problem. And there's clearly something there that if you are uncomfortable about it, that you need to either get educated on, just ask about or something. Like it's not the case that I'm sure that the vast majority of people don't actually go out of their way wanting to be awkward and not have to, and avoid these things. It's just a case of they feel that they're going to cross a line at some point because they just don't know. Or
I think in from what I've seen, the establishments that have been around for a long enough time that they have been established don't really have an excuse in this day and age to stay ignorant and not know about these people. You could do something as simple as Google black nail techs in my area, and they would come up.
They would come up. There are hashtags. That's why when the whole thing with Nail Pro magazine came out, and their reasoning was, oh, they don't know. They asked us nail techs to tag, a group of diverse nail techs, and it's like you're still not understanding that you're still here asking us to do the work for you.
And it's not like it's even that difficult in the first.
It's not just search. That's why we have things like search engines. They do the work for you.
Oh man. But it's really, I think it's really lovely. Some of the conversations that I've seen in the comment sections for all of these are both scary and encouraging at the same time. You have resources. You have the internet, which means you have the resources to figure this out for yourself. I don't know if you felt the same way. Likely you did, because a lot of my friends who had to explain all this to their white friends basically were exhausted at the end of last year from having these conversations, and we just had to send them to Google.
I was so tired. I was frustrated. I was tired. It was just like, when you just feel, I felt like people were taking the mick out of me, like having to explain and over-explain and educate adults. No one taught me any of these things. Like, you go out and you learn yourself. Do the work. I feel like if you care, you'll do the work.
And I have to commend you, because I had way less energy to deal with it than you did, because you were out there telling people.
I was ranting on my Instagram story pretty much every single day for a good 2-3 weeks. It was relentless, but I was determined. I was like, no, this is not happening. Not on my watch. You guys are not gonna post black squares and act like you care when you don't really care.
But it's also because you care so much about that community, with the nail tech community, and wanting it to grow and become more inclusive and have a greater range of people involved with it. So it's not that people aren't welcome at all. It's we just want everyone to be as visible as possible. We don't want it to be the case that there's going to be a niche group over here and a little, clique over there. It's everyone comes in together and trades ideas and trades experiences and that sort of thing.
For me, it's like every aspect of the nail world should reflect the people that make up the nail world. You can't have these big companies and these big brands have all this influence and you're not reflective of the people that help contribute to your success, you know, because it's all good and well, like these big brands, all these nail polish brands, oh yeah, we're this, we're that, they're growing, but at the end of the day, it's us nail techs that make you guys successful.
Because
you
you're using the products, you're investing
we're using
your own
the
money.
products, we're investing, you know. You should be reflective of us.
And especially when, like you said earlier, the courses that nail techs and the time and the materials that it takes to practice that is it's quite a lot. And when you don't have a huge amount of choice in what quality products or like whatever, you have to lean on the people that you're not seeing your own, that you have to lean on people that aren't reflecting your values and that don't make you feel seen. Something as simple as seeing somebody with your same like skin tone wear a particular kind of nail polish or color or whatever gives people visibility, and people don't understand how much that means always. But speaking of how expensive everything is, I want to talk a little bit about building value and everything and kind of understanding that, because I've also seen, as well as a movement to push diversity, a movement to also educate people on how much work goes into this art and practice. And this is why, another reason why I wanted you to be on the podcast, because people, I feel like sometimes are a little bit frivolous or throw away with people getting their nails done. It's cute, it's like whatever, and it gets that kind of wave away.
It seems as a fun little pastime. It's not. Yeah. It's a you've just treated yourself a little bit. Like and that's where the thought process stops.
People don't often think about the fact that the materials alone, the margin that you get for your work, is not as good. So I've seen you also speak quite a lot about increasing your prices and actually making sure that you get paid what you're worth. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I feel very strongly about this issue, because for me personally, my opinion is that in the beauty industry, nails are looked down on the most, because, for example, like people will pay £300 for a wig, people will pay £70 for eyelashes every 2 weeks and not think anything of it. But people, for some reason, still feel like in 2021, paying £20 to get your nails done is acceptable, but then want to be asking you to do hand-painted characters and abstract nail art and things like that. And for me personally as well, people don't understand how much this stuff costs. Like when you came to me and I was talking to you about how much my products cost, and I was telling you like my one pot of acrylic can cost anything between £8 to £15, and you know, my bottle of monomer can be £25 to £35, and people don't actually understand how much it is, because at the end of the day, okay, yeah, I'm paying £10 for one pot of acrylic, but I'm getting like 100 different colors. I have to have a variety of acrylic colors. I have to have a variety of gel polishes. I have to have, you know, I have to buy files every couple of weeks because I only use one file per client. So it's not like I'm reusing stock. Same thing with buffers. And then with the pandemic, you know, everyone's now wearing masks. So the cost of masks have gone up. The cost of gloves has gone up. The cost of cleaning products has gone up. Everything literally has increased. But people don't really factor in all these things. And I think it's really sad because it's mainly a UK issue. Like I've seen nail techs in America, something that I would charge maybe like £20, £25, £30 for, they're charging $65, $70, $75 and making, and no one bats an eyelid, you know. I feel like, I don't know what it is about the UK and the nail industry, but nail techs really aren't valued here. And I think it's really, really sad, because like everyone's happy to be like, oh my God, your nails are so great, they're so pretty, you're so talented, your art is great, but then they don't want to pay for it. And it's like nail techs put in so much work and time into perfecting their craft. Like I tell people, I literally think about nails all the time. I will be in the shower and have a nail idea pop up into my head, and when I get out of the shower I have to write it down so I don't forget. I have nail tech friends. I have a friend who has a studio. She will be in her studio doing nail stuff at 3-4 in the morning and still have to wake up on time for her clients the next day. Like we put a lot of time and work into our craft, and people don't really appreciate it. And that's also part of the reason why I want to move to America and do nails over there and be loved and appreciated and be rich.
Fair enough. One of the things I wanted to ask you about was the difference between the style of art that you're doing and that most people would think of with visual art is, of course, yours is more of a practical commodity than anyone else's. And do you think it's perhaps the case that because people are able to do their nails at home and things like that, that they suddenly don't feel that there's as much value in a professional doing it?
At the same time, like for example, as you said, people can do their nails at home. I can guarantee you all the people that were doing their nails during lockdown were the first ones to head to book their appointments with their nail techs, because it's not this, like, as much as people want to or will not admit, doing your nails at home by yourself and going to a nail tech and having your nails done, it's not the same.
For me personally, I'm not usually somebody who goes to get my hair done or get my nails done or get makeup done. It happens, I think, once every 5 years. But obviously, by following your page and seeing how cool this is, and obviously I have an appreciation for beautiful things, I was like, I want to participate in this. And I didn't realize how, just simply sitting across from you and getting my nails done, how much work goes into it, how much accuracy is involved, and how long it takes. It took 2 hours, and I was not expecting that. And even if you were simply just to pay yourself minimum wage and the cost of the products used, I honestly, when I was thinking about it later, 20 quid doesn't seem like a lot. It isn't fair.
It's really not. When you break it down and you really think about what goes into it, it's not. People, I don't know what it is, but people don't see nails as a luxury. But at the end of the day, like, all these things are a luxury. Getting your lashes done is a luxury. Getting your nails done is a luxury. Like, it's not a necessity, and you have to think about it that way, in the sense of you treat yourself every once in a while or whatever. But at the end of the day, whilst it's a treat to you, it's somebody else's job. I still have bills to pay. I still have products to buy. I still have to do all of that stuff. So it really, really, really irks my nerve when people question nail tech's prices, because people don't really fully understand how much goes into it, which I personally think is really sad. And I don't get why people can understand paying, 60 £60 for Russian volume lashes, but can't contemplate paying £45 for a custom full set where you've got, Swarovski crystals and hand drawn nail art and things like that, So I don't know. Hopefully, things will change. I hope things will change, but I don't know.
Like for something, even if you asked somebody who did just regular painting, that kind of art, to draw you something that small that looks that good, it's just impressive. But even about what you were saying, that people don't maybe see it as a necessity, I was also shocked by people insisting that they break quarantine to come and see you to get their nails done.
Oh, goodness me. The messages I had during that time was really something else.
I was truly baffled.
it was never from my clients. That was the worst part. My actual clients were happy and willing to wait and understood and were happy to follow the rules. The messages were always from people who didn't follow my nail page, who just came out of nowhere and were just like, yeah, can you do my nails? Can you come to me and do your nails?
Clearly someone that's gone through all of their usual people and just been turned down every single time.
Honestly, and the thing is, when everything was closed, when everything was in lockdown, my name literally said closed because it is a pandemic outside. We are in the middle of a global pandemic, and people were still messaging me, asking me to come to their house, and it was like, please refer to my page where it says I am closed because we are in the middle of people are dying outside, and you're concerned about your nails. It was crazy to me.
I would love to live that life where that is my top priority, and my main concern is the artistic merit of my cuticles.
Yeah,
it was crazy because I closed even before Boris announced the lockdown, because at the time I was still living with my mum, so I was doing nails at home, living with my mum, and she's diabetic. She's got high blood pressure, hypertension, everything. So she was high risk. So I closed early and was like, I'm not having people in and out of my house and things like that. And even then, people were still messaging me like, "Oh, can you Can I get my nails done?" And it's like, no, you will not die if you don't have acrylics for so and so amount of time. You'll be fine. But there are actually people dying outside. So no.
Ridiculous. I just don't understand.
For non-acrylic users or people that have never had them like me, the comparison I was going to use, particularly for any male listeners out there with a beard, is you've mentioned the word luxury, and it is a bit like a luxury. And the easiest, like the main comparison I could think of it would be, it's the difference between trimming your own beard at home versus getting a full thing done at a barbershop. That's where you see the expertise, the care, the precision coming in.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is a sort of a nice pampering sort of thing. It's always nice to kind of have that sort of experience. But it's there is a lot of talent and time and energy that has gone behind it. And that is something that people need to be far more aware of and be willing to pay for.
Yeah.
But you were also talking about different products earlier, and you make some of your own products as well. So I wanted to know, what advice and tips do you have for people that are potentially, in their teens or whatever, thinking, I want to go into getting some nail stuff done and setting my own thing? How did you take that step into saying, hey, I'm going to make my own stuff?
First things first, do your research, find a niche, find out what's out there, but make something that's unique to you. Because I've noticed lately, especially, a lot of nail techs are starting their own nail supply stores, which is a great thing, but they're all pretty much selling the exact same thing.
Right. Okay.
And they're all selling things I can also get from AliExpress as well.
Yeah.
But then, for example, you have shout out. I'm gonna shout out one of my nail tech friends. Her name's Pex Nails on Instagram, and she started her brand during lockdown, and it's called Pex Creates. And she makes nail stickers. She does charms and things like that. And then I have another friend, she's got her shop D Rose. She's doing multi-liner brushes. She's got this brush. I actually used it on Nancy. She's got this liner brush, and it's got different heads for the lengths of the brush, things like that, nail techs we don't have. And literally, ever since I bought that brush, I have not used another nail art brush since. And I keep asking her when she's going to restock, because I need to get some more. So I have a backup supply. Things like that. But I would also say, don't be discouraged. For example, I've already said I know lots of nail techs are all selling the same thing, but the point is that they're all selling the same thing and people are still buying it. So don't be discouraged. The industry is so big. There is room for everyone to do what they want and flourish and succeed. And I think that's the great thing about the nail industry is that, for example, like I know if I have a client come to me and they want to do something and I can't do it, I can be like, oh, well, okay, I can't do it, but go to this nail tech. Or someone will ask me, oh, where can I get this? I can be like, oh, well, you can't get from me, but you can get from this person. So,
this might be me being naive and really not knowing anything about the acrylics and nail techs. Is it a bit like a sort of when you are finding a tattoo artist, you've got each artist has their own style, their own specialism within it. And say you come in and it's like, oh, I want to get a watercolor tattoo and things done. It's like, well, I don't do that particular style, but check out this person.
Yeah. It is a bit like that because I know, like, for example, I do like hand painted nail art. I take my time to do it and know how to do it and things like that. But I know plenty of nail techs that don't want to draw a single thing and will refuse. And so to compensate for that, they might get like stickers or decals and things like that. So, not every nail tech out there does nail art or, things like that. But people are succeeding, people are flourishing, and we're all doing our own thing. So,
I find that this is definitely the case in other creative communities where there's this sort of false philosophy of scarcity. So it's like, there's only 100,000 people who are interested in nail art, for example. And then if you don't start your business beforehand, and if you don't sell this one specific thing, no one's going to have room for you. And that's just not true. Even in the most saturated industries, like YouTube and podcasting and music and film, like there's room for more and more creatives every day.
There really is. Like, for example, I have a friend now who's started selling apparel for nail techs and for lash techs. She's started her own brand called Techs Who Lounge. Like, there's so much. There is so many things you can do. There is room for everyone to do whatever they want to do and succeed. There's no such thing as scarcity. Literally, I can't do something, I could probably find 10 other people who can do it for you. It's a great thing.
I'm so glad we're having this conversation this way, because almost every other person that I've talked to that has wanted to start something new, whether it was in the lockdown because they had a little extra time or whatever, has always had the hesitation of like, should I do it? Is it worth it? Am I going to be good? Like, there's that kind of thing. But yeah, it's really nice to have somebody else that agrees and can support that.
Literally, like, just do it. Like, sometimes I have days where I'll just scroll all the way back to the early days of when I started, and I'll look at my work and I'll be like, oh my gosh, people were telling me oh my God, you're amazing, this was great. And I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. Like, why were people telling me this is good? But then here we are 2 years down the line, and I feel like I'm only getting better. Just really just start. It's just start and just don't stop. Just start and don't stop and keep going, and you'll get there.
I think this is kind of one of those things that speaks to people's imposter syndrome to a certain degree. And I noticed that when you were doing my nails, you got another follow, and you got a little nervous. Do you mind talking about that a little bit? Because I felt that it's natural, and I feel safe to assume that obviously you want a lot of followers, you want a lot of support on social media, but at the same time you hesitated and got a little nervous when someone followed you and you got some social media interaction. So can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm really weird in the sense of, I don't know how to explain it. It's sort of like, oh yeah, it's great, but at the same time it's scary, because it's like social media is great, but in the same breath it has its downsides. And I've noticed with nail tech friends I have and with things I've seen, like when you start off, things are great and people can be really supportive, but as your following gets bigger, people start to like nitpick and leave like comments that are so unnecessary. Like, for example, I know a couple nail techs, they've got like 10,000 followers and 20,000 followers, and then people will be commenting on their pictures like, I love your design, but you know, this looks like this, or your cuticles are really red and sore and things like that. And it's just like, I think with me, I'm very straightforward. I say how I feel, and that's just what it is. And it's the whole becoming more visible and becoming more, you know, being more out there and being more exposed to different characters and things like that. I fear trolls, maybe that's what it is. I fear trolls, and I fear, like, you know, because people will find negative in anything, and I feel like my nail world and my nail community is very positive and very loving and wholesome. And then it's also the thought of, oh my God, someone's followed me, like, do they like my work and things like that. I still find myself being like, do I like that? Like, people, when I post a picture of my nails, I'll be like, okay, it's great. But then like 10 minutes later, I'll be like, oh, look, there's something wrong there, or there's something wrong there. And then I'm just like, oh, I hate it. I want to delete it or archive it and things like that. So social media is crazy. And especially with this Instagram algorithm that is basically screwing everyone. You now have to like pay for promotion to like get the smallest amount of exposure. It's tough. It's tough.
I know how you feel with the whole, like, that aspect of posting it, and then when someone sees it, you all of a sudden notice. It's almost kind of like hitting send on an email and then realizing you made a spelling mistake.
Exactly.
But there's no way that you could have seen it earlier.
Yeah.
It's a very weird human problem, I feel like.
but at the same time, there's the reason you want to post it in the first place is because there was that moment where you were really excited by it. You really liked it. You thought, hey, that's pretty good. I liked that. And as you were saying earlier, there's that thing where you scroll all the way back and people are saying, oh, this is amazing. And you're looking at your old work going, what the hell are you on? You know, it's, but it's important to take those moments where you think, no, there was a reason I wanted to post this. I did want to share this. I do like this.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be critical of certain things when you look at them again, but just it's a case of, well, at least in my opinion, just don't make the same mistake twice. You know, I've got no problem making mistakes. I've made mistakes constantly. If anyone scrolls back far enough through my Instagram, I think there's misspelt posts and stuff, which as a writer is embarrassing. Tomorrow's a new day. Just keep it going. As you were saying, just don't stop.
That's literally all it is. Even me, like, especially now, for example, over lockdown, I tried so hard to keep my Instagram engagement up to the point where I was doing my normal job, 8:30 till 4, then logging off from that, doing nail stuff till about 10, 11 o'clock to make sure I had content to post every single day. I was burning myself out, all for the sake of let me not lose my engagement on Instagram. And now I'm just like, I post when I want to post because it makes you crazy. It genuinely makes you crazy. I do nails because I love doing nails. It makes me happy. The joy it brings me is crazy. And I didn't want to start jeopardizing that for the sake of growing an Instagram page. It didn't make sense to me. So now I'm just like, well, if I don't post all week, I don't post all week. But then when I do post, you guys are going to see, wow, this is what she's been up to in her time, you know?
I think at as we're recording this, I haven't posted my Instagram for 8-9 days now, which, considering this time last year, I was posting every single day, and I did that for 150 days in a row. It was pretty good going. But I had the exact same thing of just, I'm now putting out content that I don't want to be putting out for the sake of thinking,
exactly.
Oh, I only got 20 comments or whatever on that previous one, so why did that not work as well as the one where I got 70 comments and likes and reshares and people put it in their story? And it's like, well, because you're not putting out the quality that you are passionate about. You're just putting out content. There's a difference between putting out content and putting out quality.
Exactly.
So, of course, I'm going to eat my own words when the next post I have sort of has one like on it and it's Nancy. Just saying, good job, Alex.
I love your writing, like I love you every day.
So we'll find out in a day or two when I decide to post something. But there's so much more than the engagement rates and the Instagram likes and follows and Twitter follows and things. But at the same time, you get so wrapped up in the whole I need to have exposure of my own and creating my own brand.
Exactly.
Forge my way in this. So we've spoken about this before in a previous thing. It's about finding that balance.
Yeah, exactly.
I think having spoken to several people about it and my own experience, you need to go through the high and the low of it yourself to understand what the balance is. So you will have that moment of, oh my God, I'm panicking. I've not posted for 2 weeks. I don't like anything I've done or got. And then the burnout of, no, I need to post. I need to keep it going.
It's hard, but when you hit that point, it's like, it's better for you in the long run, because nobody wants to be burnt out. Nobody wants to post content that they absolutely hate, or they're just posting it for the sake of Instagram. But also, it would be really nice if Instagram could stop messing with the app and just return it to what it once was previously. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. So we just have to adjust,
Sometimes it's very disappointing that creatives are often at the mercy of social media. It's very nice that it's easier to distribute work more than it has been in the last 20 years. However, all of a sudden waking up and realizing that something has changed and you have no control over it is really quite I'm a control freak, so that doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating, because you think you have it down the first time and you've cracked the code and you know how you're going to navigate through something, and then you wake up to find a new update and a new algorithm, and you're just like, oh wait, no, okay, scratch that. I have to come up with a new plan.
I've got pages of notes saved on my phone for of just different hashtags when I was just trying out different series of hashtags and communities and things like that to see which one would get the most engagement when I was doing this sort of 150-day posting spree.
Yeah.
And just tracking and seeing what was going on. And that's not healthy. That's not right.
It's not healthy at all.
There's obviously method to it and madness behind it, but doing it to the extent that I was doing it was clearly cool.
Okay. Well, as somebody who binge watches productivity videos on YouTube and a lot of content about social media marketing and how to maximize the efficiency of your content online, I've internalized all these strategies, I guess you could say. And so I'm of the belief, and I don't know whether this is right or wrong, or just it depends on you as a person, but I'm of the belief that you have to dedicate some sort of consistency to your work and try and investigate it, because not to gain followers and start getting money, and which is a nice side effect of it if you do it successfully, but it's mostly because I feel like your nail art is amazing. His writing is amazing. I really like my comic, and I want to do those things a service and not do them a disservice by basically accidentally keeping them secret. So I really, my personal view on it is that if you have work that you're making, you want to, part of the reason that I'm enthusiastic about people posting as often as you can at a particular time so that people know you're consistent, is to enable your work to reach as many people who need it.
Yeah, I definitely agree to an extent with all of that, but I think perhaps I didn't explain it well enough. But I think for me, it was the case that I was so I basically fell down that rabbit hole of I need more and more and more likes and comments, and it wasn't. I was going for the quality of the likes and the comments of the people that actually are interested in it. I often describe it as if you go to give a sales pitch to 500,000 people and you're selling a washing machine, but those people are all there to hear about the engine on a brand new car. You've reached 500,000 people. Fantastic. You're probably not going to make a sale. But if you go in front of 50 people that are in the market because they desperately want to buy washing machines, you're going to have a far greater success rate.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I guess doing all this without the cost of your mental health is good too.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a debate for another time.
Is it? What do you mean?
No, you're right.
Oh, good. So is there anybody in the community that you look up to, that you aspire to kind of reach? I know you also said that one of your personal goals was to kind of move to America specifically because they actually appreciate the kind of work that you do. But is there anyone's footsteps that you're using as kind of like a template?
The people that I look up to are in reach of me as well, which is really nice because I can talk to them, I can get their advice, things like that. I would say I don't want to single out anyone because if I single out, I'll forget someone and then I'll be really upset.
So send people to your Instagram page and check out your follow list.
The follow list is very long. But just to say a few, there is a nail tech, her name is Elise Nails. She is crazy incredible. Like, she did a number of challenges during lockdown, which really helped me push my levels of creativity and push my levels of art and things like that, which is amazing for me. And as well, she's always been someone I can message, and she will give me advice. I remember there was a time where I was literally on a voice note to her, like, Elise, I can't do this anymore. I just want to quit. I can't do it. And she was just like, no, Amy, you're not doing that. You're not quitting. You're not giving up. So, there are the nail tech community and the people that I have around me are extremely supportive and are constantly pushing me to believe in myself and believe in my work. And now for me, all I see in my future is nails. So, now it's just time to get to work, figure out, how I'm gonna make this my 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. I want nails to be full time. So now it's just like working towards that. And hopefully one day I would really like to open a nail school and educate, girls and girls and boys from like low income areas, give opportunities to people that wouldn't necessarily have those opportunities. Because like I said at the start, the courses are expensive, but that shouldn't be a roadblock for someone who's got the talent and the drive and the passion to do it. So hopefully one day in the future I'll be able to make some young girls and boys' dreams a reality. That would be the ultimate goal for me.
That is so nice. And I really hope it happens. That would be really good.
I hope and pray it happens. Fingers and toes crossed. Mm-hmm. That is my future.
So, Obi, where can people find you on social media?
So, I have Instagram. My Instagram is @_Ayana Nails. I will get that spelling because people will get it wrong. I am on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, the same @ I am on Twitter, the same @ People keep pushing me and keep asking me to do a YouTube channel, and I'm thinking about it. So hopefully that will be in the works.
Nancy's giving you massive thumbs up.
Yeah, Nancy is like, do it. So I'm trying to figure out how I can do that. But yeah, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok especially. I'm really trying to work on TikTok. But yeah, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok are all @_Ayana Nails. So yeah, that's where you can find me. Mm-hmm. And my little nail community. We're very loving. We are all crazy, but we're good crazy, so it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Obi, thank you very, very much for joining us. It's been great.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great talking to you guys.
Woohoo! And I'm very excited. All the links will be in the show notes if you guys can't spell any of what was going on just now. I know that I actually had trouble with it, so I mean, click the link. It'll be good for you. I have been Nancy Art Music. You can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Nancy Art Music. Alex, where can we find you?
I'm Alex Roberts, and you can find me on Instagram at Alex Roberts Writer, and you can find my first collection of poetry, Empire, on Amazon.